This video is part 2 of naming carboxylic acids and their derivatives. So take a look at questions 1 through 4 and pause the video here and see if you can solve them on your own. If you haven't already seen part 1 of this video, I would recommend that you stop here and go back to the previous video before you attempt this one. So go ahead and pause. Okay, so now let's take a look at the answers for numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. So for number 1, the answer is carboxylic acid. You can see here there's a carbon double bonded to an oxygen, and it's also single bonded to an OH. Number 2, the answer is 4-methylhexanoic acid. So first of all, you can see here's a carboxylic acid. So we know we should name it oic acid. Now let's count the carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see the methyl here is attached to carbon number 4. And we keep counting. 5, 6. So we know it's hexane because there's 6 carbons. So it's 4-methylhexanoic acid. Number 3 was a little bit tricky. Some of you may have forgotten about capital E, and there's also a capital Z. So what that means is, here you can see there is a double bond. The capital E indicates that this is, the other end of this is trans. If it was cis, it would be capital Z. And it's 1 to 3rd carbon, where you find that. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 carbons. So we know it's heptane. And again, we have a carboxylic acid here. So it's oic acid. E3-heptanoic acid. Number 4, you were asked to draw valeric acid. So again, carboxylic acid here, so we know we got to count these carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbons is valeric, so valeric acid. Okay, now let's go on to the next problems. Problems 5, 6, 7, and 8. So pause the video here and see if you can solve these. So here we'll start with number 5. This is oxalic acid. Also, it could be called ethane dioic acid. So you can see now there's a carboxylic acid here, and there's also a carboxylic acid here. So we have 2 carboxylic acids. So it's a dicarboxylic acid, and that's why down here we use the term dioic acid. And we count the carbons. How many carbons do we have? 1, 2. Ethane dioic acid. Also, since there's 2 carbons, we could name it oxalic acid. Number 6, you were asked to draw glutaric acid. It's also called 1,5-pentane dioic acid. So you can tell from the name here, dioic acid, and you can also tell from the name glutaric, this is also a dicarboxylic acid. And here they are, 1 carboxylic acid, 2 carboxylic acids. There's 2 of them. And we count the carbons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a carboxylic acid at 1, and there's a carboxylic acid at 5. 1, 5. The word for 5 is pentane or glutaric. Number 7, you can see a carbon double bonded to an oxygen and single bonded to an oxygen. So it's 2 oxygens. That's an ester. And you were asked to name this drawing. So you can see here that you have several oxygens here. You have 2 carbons double bonded to an oxygen. And you also have 2 carbons single bonded to oxygens. So this particular compound could be named 2 ways. Diethyl propane dioate or diethyl melanate. So let's start with the diethyl. Here we have 2 carbons and here we have 2 carbons. Ethyl, ethyl. That's where we get the diethyl. So where do we get the propane from? Let's count the carbons over here. 1, 2, 3. That's a propane. Or you could also call it malonic. That's how you get the malinate here. And so this one was a little bit tricky. So now I'm going to show you one here at the bottom of the page. So pause your video here and see if you can draw this one. Isopentyl acetate. This is used in synthetic banana flavor. Okay, so this one you can see that there is